Gel Production.
Welcome to Creative Excellence. I am your host, Davina Lee, and we are coming to you from the studios of the Government Information Service. This show seeks to give a better understanding of the artist experience here in Saint Lucia. We discuss the work and the balance, the successes and the aspirations. My guest today is no stranger to balance. She has had to balance being an actor, a director, a songwriter, a performer, an artist manager, and a qualified teacher. She is the founder and artistic director of DramaCon Talent House and one of my absolute favorite creatives. Today, we welcome to the show Ms. Danielle Dubois. Welcome, Ms. Dubois.
Thank you very much, Miss Lee. Thank you very much, Miss Lee.
I'm really excited to have you on the show today. And like in the opening, I mentioned that you wear many hats.
Yes.
So wearing many hats, like I said, an actor, a director, artist manager, qualified teacher, what do you call yourself? If somebody says, Danielle, what are you?
Yeah, well, first of all, you say hats, and just as of recent, I've accepted that it's not a hat, it's just who I am.
Okay.
It's everything I do, of course, is an extension of me, and I try not to, isolate or compartmentalize the things that I can do and just try to embrace it all. So, I came up with this real name. I just call myself a creative dynamo. Like, I see myself in a constant state of creation and always looking to do something and improve the space that I'm in and what I'm doing. So it's just a creative dynamo.
Right. And one of those parts of you that is an artist manager. You've managed some of our well-known soca artists. So we know Arthur, we know Keisha. What has that experience been like?
Well, the dynamic is so different now. Like, if I have to reflect on how Arthur and our relationship started, we were young. I actually met him at Teachers College.
Nice.
And I approached him first as a songwriter. And I remember running up and down the halls. I'm like, Arthur, I have a song for you, And, he used to play it off a kind of way. He's like, yeah, man, we go reason. And I can't remember something happened and we had extra time. And I had my book, and I think it was upstairs. I sang a little bit of the song for him. Actually, the first song I sang for him was the West Indian, Who I Am.
Yeah.
And, when I think of that song has changed so much. If you hear the original demo and stuff. So that's how it started. Then we got the opportunity to just do work, and he trusted me with his brand, I guess. And he really gave me a lot of leeway to create and to direct and write and to manage everything. So I've been doing it so long now, and we were able to do that for 5 years. I mean, Kidel Sonny was also part of the team at the time. And we worked really well together.
Right.
When I talk about Keisha now, who's, in my opinion, in hibernation.
Okay.
She's she's in that little space of development, personal development, and I'm just here to push her and to support her to the best I can. And I can't wait for the season and the place to open for her to really start, soaring like the star that she really is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, when we talk about Arthur, this is where actually you first came on my radar, because I had seen the music video for Who I Am, and I'm like, okay, this is one to watch, because it was directed by Danielle Dubois. I'm like, who is Danielle Dubois? At the time I was before I directed music videos, so I was like, okay, she's on my radar. But apart from just being a director, I saw that you were a songwriter. So I was like thoroughly impressed, and like you just explained to us how it came about. But I want us to take a listen in case anybody doesn't know the song, which is highly unlikely that you don't know the song. Let's take a listen to some of Who I Am by Arthur, which was directed by Danielle. The video we're gonna see, directed by Danielle, and the song was also written by Danielle.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. I am a West Indian, yeah. That's who I am. is so sweet. Melodies in the heat. Everybody's on the road. We jumping for one goal. To where the soca play. Our culture on a display. Everybody say we vibe a special way. To see the people playing. Everybody masquerading. The music sounds so sweet. It's only we who feel it. I jumping in a band. Need you to understand. I am a West Indian, no matter how far I go. Thank God that I am a West Indian, and I come from the land of sun. Thank God that we come from the Caribbean, where the party never done. Let me see your hands up for soca music, hands up for the greatest fire.
So that was Arthur. Lovely. But thinking about that, Danielle, like in the intro, I said you're also a performer. And one of the things I like to ask artists or people who do multiple things, like you manage an artist, you also performer. Did you feel like that should have been a Danielle song, you know, or do you feel like you cheat yourself, like even managing Arthur, managing Keisha, you're a performer. Do you feel like you're taking time away from managing Danielle? Do you feel that you're cheating yourself in any way?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. For sure, there have been some songs I've written. I'm like, boy, I could sing this song. But no, because, you know, a major part of me has always been helping and being behind the scenes. I realize that's really where my strength lies as the person, the director, you know, and these days I'm doing a lot of producing as well.
Wait, let's back up a little. When you say producing, you mean like producing in the beats?
No, we're not talking music. We're talking producer. We're talking, you know, financing and raising funds to get projects done. You know, and I guess later on we'll talk about Drama Can Talent House, but no, because first of all, my training is in theater first, so. You know, people say it's amazing that you could do everything, but in theater, you're demanded to know everything. So you get an aspect and an opportunity to be part of all aspects of the theatrical process. So of course, yes, I started as a performer. And then, you know, Junior Frederick would always say, all right, everybody has to try everything. So I think that's where, you know, my skill set really started to develop from just, so if you're not acting, you know, you're doing lighting, you're doing stage management, front of house. And next time you're just sitting down and waiting or doing more of the production, the management aspect of it. So that's where I got all that. So no, I don't think that I've been holding myself back. I think it's still a contribution that I'm making. Most definitely later on in the future, like later on in my life, I still would like to sing calypso. I think that's a feat that I would want to challenge myself into, probably Groovy Monarch. I have done it as well. But it's really, I realize that what I do is very sporadic, and it really depends on how I feel at the time. And being in front of the camera and performing and being that, I guess, artist, songwriter thing, not really, at least not right now. I think I find a lot of joy and gratification in what I'm doing and pushing the vibe instead of the face all the time. But yeah, I don't think I'm holding back at all.
Okay, nice. But then there's a song, Carnival Soul, that's your song.
Yes.
Which I love.
Yes.
And I want people to listen to it, and we're going to come back to talk to Danielle about that. So let's listen to some of Carnival Soul by Danielle.
I love this song.
Melody Queen, yeah, that's it. Wonderful, it's beautiful, it is a moving art. I remember the first time I played mass. It got a seed inside of me that only I can feel. It comes to my mind like a nursery rhyme that I learned when I was a child. If you could just see me smile when carnival on my mind, I feel like I'm on a carnival day. The way I feel when it's soca play make me feel a good way. 'Cause carnival is a part of me. It's energy, it's a feeling.
So that was Carnival Soul by Danielle. Danielle, this song basically told us Danielle is a carnival baby. Carnival baby, it's in your soul, it is part of you. So what has no mask for 2 years done to you? Have you, okay, you look like you want to cry.
Girl.
Have you been able to channel that energy into another area? But tell me, what does that, how does that feel?
I mean, the No Carnival, of course, yes. The first year was a pinch because I get to do a lot of work around Carnival time. So for sure that meant, no gigs and stuff like that. Besides the fact that you're missing all the revelry and the people and, the fun. But for some reason, I can't even remember last year and this year because it's been a whirlwind with the amount of stuff that we've been doing.
Right.
And my focus basically has been shifted. So I don't miss it. I guess when I come back, we'll be able to, you understand? I try not to hop over the things we can't control, So, but I love it, I miss it. Everybody, I know the artists, for example, like people like Keisha, they're really suffering. A lot of people who wait for the season to be able to work and to express, because that's the only space some artists really get to work. Like when you look at, I guess, carnival designers, costume designers, songwriters, even when you look at all the offshoot services that people get to work for carnival time. So I guess that's what's missing. But I guess next year, God willing.
Fingers crossed on this one.
Yeah, next year, God willing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you've been able to put your energy into DramaCon, and it's something that I guess you were the founder from 2017. Can you tell us, if somebody doesn't know DramaCon, what is DramaCon?
Yeah, well, DramaCon basically started as an after school, this is basically how I say it, we started at the St. Joseph's Convent, and it was a drama group in the beginning. And it was just out of me at the time wanting to do a little bit more and to kind of encapsulate all the work that, I've been doing. So we started off as a drama group, and I guess 4 years later, we're really blessed to say that we're a multifaceted, multimedia production company. And we've been really blessed to do stage performances, video performances, music videos. We do casting. We have a huge team. We have Project C, which we're now wrapping up with Digicel. So it's been a whirlwind, and we rebranded to DramaCon Talent House to basically encapsulate all that we do. So again, I think in the beginning of my process, because when as an artist, you evolve. I used to be so depressed about what's the next step or what to do next, and for a long time I couldn't even celebrate my achievements because I feel like I was always just on the go working, and it was, as an artist, you have the struggle between working and paying your bills and expressing. So, I was in survival mode for a long time, where it was between the next gig, and it wasn't really about the process, and then you don't enjoy the process anymore. So DramaCon Talent House now is the new space, and it's this place where we're saying, all right, we're going to do our best because we want to be the best. We work with the best, and what we focus on is the process and adding value to the process and involving people in the process, because the mandate really and truly is to raise the consciousness of people when it comes to the arts in Saint Lucia. So it's not just one thing. So I would like people to not see us as one thing.
Right.
And a lot of creatives as well, we always try to box ourselves as one thing. I mean, so what if I sang a song and I tried to make it to Groovy Monarch?
So what?
Okay, and I didn't make the finals. Okay, I probably shouldn't have gone to Juve and Fred that morning, but so what? What's the next thing? So what if I can write? And so sometimes people only see you as a painter, but deep down you can write as well. Go ahead,
do it.
Let not. And I think that's the box. And praise God, I'm out of it. That we place on ourselves it's just one thing, but it's not just one thing. So that's why we call it the House of Talent.
And in the House of Talent, there's a big education component, right?
Major.
So it's like learning the craft.
So let me tell you, the vision is so expansive, and it's only in little pieces and very slowly. So if COVID wasn't there, if I have to give you what the model would be, is that people will be a part of the team. And right now we have a team of 30 people. And we're working on Zoom, we're working on Google Meet. And so anytime an opportunity comes up, I just say, hey guys, there's a gig, you know, at Drama Talent House. We support our actors. We make sure that they know what's required of them on set. Because really and truly, people just don't know a lot of things. And a lot of people have the will to do things, but they don't have the space to be able to do it. So that's where we come in. So the educational component, obviously, is that we would like to be able to have sessions during the week and people just continuously coming. And at the end of the 6-month training program, we'll be able to do a theatrical production, which will also form part of your assessment. So like that leg of Drama Can is not even there yet. So, but the idea is like it will be a continuous revolving door where people can come and do a play, they can commit to something, and they can grow, they can get a certificate out of it.
Yes.
And even while they're doing that, because right now we're working on GoPel Part 2 for Nobel Laureate Week.
We'll speak about GoPel in a bit.
Yeah, but it's just so much, like it's so much, and I just think finally the vision is clear. Even though it's expansive, piece by piece, we're chopping it off. And there's no limit to what we can do.
Right.
Yeah.
What I noticed though, with everything that you're involved in, like one of the things I did mention that you are a qualified teacher.
Yeah.
And I feel that there is this thread going through everything about this nurturing part of you, this teaching part of you. Do you think you were attracted to being a teacher because of it's in your personality, or has being a teacher impacted the other things that you have done?
Yeah.
Which
well,
was
for sure,
chicken and egg situation.
For sure, the way I started teaching was like the weirdest thing ever. I was straight out of A-level 2010. And it just happened to reach to me that convent was in need of a theater arts teacher. And I was like, okay, like literally, in my mind, I had this view like I wanted to go in the bank because I used like to see the girls who dress up so nicely. I say like, that's what I want to do. But deep down, I always wanted to be a lawyer. Like my whole life has been Danielle the lawyer, you know, arguing. So like so all my classes, the subjects I chose, I remember doing debates, things like NYC and, you know, even the little government stuff in the communities. I used to place myself on councils because I always felt that, you know, I had a space, or I always wanted to make a contribution as some kind of leader. So when it came, and I'm saying this now, I didn't know that then, but I just know I was always in a space to do something. And I went and I got the job. Teaching at convent was not easy, coming from, you know, absolutely no training. So I did 2 years, 2010 to 2012. Then 2012 to 2014, I went to Teachers College. And after that, that's when I really dug my heels in. And I said, you know what, I want to promote theater arts. The objective for me at the time was for people to see the importance of the arts, and, you know, because it impacted my life so much, I realized that in the school I had a unique opportunity for people to do the same. So when I just came to convent, we did not even have theater arts as a CXC subject. We did not. And, you know, I must commend Sister Fina. Sister Fina is a boss leader. She really empowered me, and she also has an affinity for the arts. So I would come in for crazy ideas. She'd be like, okay, Danielle, go ahead. Seriously, you know, and she'd be like, what's the budget? Or, you know, she'd always give me the space. Although we used to be in loggerheads a lot, because can you imagine a drama school that's always quiet, and all of a sudden I fighting for the hall because Danielle, Mr. Dubois making too much noise in the hall. Like, seriously, but what moved me was to see how much the girls responded. And you know, we had the Caribbean Drama Theater Arts Nights. We did that for probably about 4 years, where the girls would do plays like 2 nights and 4 plays every night. Let me tell you, when I go back, I think like I'm mad, because we've done, like, can you imagine like overseeing probably 8 half-hour plays, you know, but we did it, you know. And when the first time I taught theater at CXC, it was only 4 students, and by the time I was leaving, like, we had 2 and 4 Form 5 classes, right? My biggest class was probably 32 students. So that was an amazing feat at a grammar school, primarily grammar school, you know, and Sister Fina had a lot to play with that growth and development. So I was like, okay.
Okay. So you believe that your stint as a teacher, it really shaped you because at Teachers College you met Arthur too?
Yeah, for sure.
Then at Convent.
For sure.
And so it had a very big impact on
what I would
choices.
say definitely shaped my philosophy as a leader, as a director, producer now, that everything goes back to the arts, it goes back to the foundation, the ideals of drama, which is collaboration, right? Which is working together and everybody bringing their space. So teaching really shaped, and I actually grew to love teaching after a while.
Nice.
You know, I grew into my power, and I enjoy teaching. And even as a director, it's still teaching.
Yes,
it's still
exactly.
directing, it's
That's
still
what
coaching,
I was
it's still
thinking, yeah.
facilitating and taking your time to,
as an artist manager
express
too.
the vision. And so yeah, for sure, teaching really has shaped me.
Okay, that's good. And so let's move on now to your project, the Gopwell Rehabilitation Center.
Oh my God. Yes, yeah.
Where did that idea come from?
Oh Lord.
I mean, we all know if you have Gopwell, you probably need rehab.
Yeah, for real. And it was, there was a lot of things happening at the time. I mean, Gopwell has been in the making, I would say, since the late 2018 into 2019. That transition year for me, I was just tired of teaching. People used to watch me and like, Danielle, why you want to leave teaching? I'm like, It's time for me to leave. Like, I felt like I expended my contribution, and it was time for me to do something else. So Gopwell now came in because DramaCon, I wanted to build DramaCon. I said, we need to build a work portfolio. We need to do work. So I was like, okay, let's write a play. Of course, yes, they had soaps in the personal life, but it didn't come out directly. No, when I wrote it, because it was about 2 years later when we wrote it, and some friends of mine, in our house, we all had an apartment in Marseille. People like Trisha, my old friends, like we were all just young people, and I remember writing it on a Bristol board, Gopwell, and I wrote down the storyline and characters, and it stayed empty literally for a year.
Okay.
But it was only after, I guess, I got better, and I said, all right, what is this play going to be about? And I was like, it has to explore the heartbreak. I wanted to also make a point on emotional and mental wellness. So it's not just Gopwell. Like, if I probably could have named the play another name, I would probably name it something else, because I think it kind of typecast the entire play. But it's about mental health. It's about adverse childhood experiences and the things that make us love the way we love, and that sometimes, when you come out of a relationship, you say it's a Gopwell, but eventually it's you that probably was the toxic one anyway. So,
yes.
So that's what the play, represents, and I'm happy that, I had people like Shine Savory, who's a junior, a member of the group. She's at secondary school, and she really helped me pull it together. Okay. In terms of the formatting, because people who know me know that I'm a little sporadic and a little.
I mean, the action was fantastic. We got to see some drama behind the drama, behind the scenes drama, because it was part of CDF's curtain call. Yeah. And so we saw some, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Yeah. So we're going to take a look at some of Gopwell, because it was part of CDF's.
That's a lot,
It was part of CDF's curtain call, and that was a good series, really good series. CDF really pushing the arts here in Saint Lucia. So let's take a little bit in of Gopwell Rehab Center.
Let's say Gopwell.
The Gopwell Rehab Center.
Yes.
Yes, let's take a look.
It has been quite a roller coaster journey for DramaCan in staging director Danielle Dubois' first original full-length play. Now join us for the premiere of Danielle Dubois and DramaCan's theatrical production, the Gopwell Rehabilitation Center.
Don't forget where you're at. I wanted to see how low this man could go.
Mama, every time I risk everything to come and see you.
Now, Catholic, sign yourself. If you are not Catholic, sign yourself regardless.
And I know when my father died, I get enough piece of money.
Women know what they want and they act accordingly.
Échanger, so te fait 14 ans.
I will save her from him.
I'm in love with a married man.
Hey, Bochet!
No, you don't have to.
Aïe, aïe, aïe,
Jack.
doudou.
Jack.
Pas pleurer
Jack.
comme ça. Pas pleurer comme ça. Ou ka écraser chez moi.
Why he not here yet?
I'm so happy you came.
You know I would always come if I said I would, all right? I found a different path through the bushes so I don't have to wake up the dogs. But how are you? You good? You eating? You got the money I sent for you?
Yes, I did. Thank you. Jack.
Yes, baby.
Jack. I don't know why they have me here. But you know you could save me.
So that was Hopewell Rehab Center.
Yes, a mad play.
Yeah. So tell me,
mad play.
Danielle, what is your process for creating? People have a process. Sometimes the idea is sparks an idea, or it's based on something they've experienced. Usually, what do you find? Even in writing, for the play, what's usually your process? Is it first write the idea down, then I step it out? Do you give yourself deadlines? Or it just happens how it happens?
Honestly, I would say, girl, like you see the year 2020, people see the play go well and the curtain call, but that really pushed me to refine my process so much. Because there's a time in a creative's life, I would say that you have to balance just knowing that you're talented and you could get it done with the hard work. And what I had to do was to refine my process to ensure that I do what I have to do and not say I'll only do it when I feel like it.
Right.
So again,
put yourself on a schedule, sort of.
So I had to. I remember locking up all my friends on a weekend and going by the beach and trying to finish write the play. I mean, the play is only 2 scenes long, but that's a lot of work. I mean, when you have when I sent the first play, the first scene. The first scene was actually supposed to be the second scene. I sent it to Junior, so Junior did a lot of dramaturgy for me. So she used to challenge me to go back, fix it.
People who don't know who Junior is, maybe we should just tell them who Junior is.
Junior Frederick is the director of events at Cultural Foundation, CDF. And, you know, of course, I talk about it all the time. She's my mentor. You know, me and her had loggerheads all the time, but I always say she's the one who I feel like she chose me, and she gave me that opportunity to really grow and be my best self. And today we work together. It's not easy, but that's what Junior is. But my process, I would say, is used to be very sporadic. I mean, if the songwriting, it would be a vibe like you'll be driving and you have to go on the side of the road and write.
Right.
Same thing with Go Well. You have the concept, you have the idea, you write it down. I give myself the space to develop the content without feeling. So I don't do well with deadlines, but I give myself internal deadlines. If you understand, be like, okay, 2 weeks pass on that. Okay, by now this should be done.
Right.
So it's really an internal thing. I mean, for Go Well, when you have a whole production and a producer on your back, you have to show up. Right. And that's something that I learned the hard way, that you literally have to show up when you're cast members and you have people invest in you and trust in you with their money. You have to show up. You have to do the work. So I had to really fix my personal issues and really know that I have a whole team carrying me, and I'm carrying my team. So the process really is to be refined and to also enjoy, because the creating thing, it just comes, you know, it really and truly doesn't, it's not me, it comes from God.
Yeah,
and it is, as creative people, you know, we have to acknowledge that, and I do acknowledge that. So I also don't frustrate myself when I can't complete a project. So it's a lot, it's a lot, but going with the flow, I would say I'm going with the flow and matching that with structure,
right,
and making sure that I get it done. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned balance a while ago, and you also work with government, information, you're an information officer. How do you balance? How do you create the space in your brain? Because there are many artists who also work a 9 to 5 and who have to make time for their craft. You have to actually make the time. How do you balance that? How do you balance the guilt as well?
What guilt?
You don't have no guilt?
What guilt?
No, when I say guilt, I mean like guilt that you're neglecting your craft.
Oh, I wouldn't call it guilt per se, because like I tell Junior this all the time, like, you know, as Caribbean people, and we of course, yes, we working in a context, you know, it's a poor people country, you know, and I don't frustrate myself with the fact that I cannot do better right now. So if I need to work, I need to work.
Right.
You understand? And I've learned that the hard way. I think it's so used to me. So when I'm done at 4:30 or 5 o'clock, I'm like, all right, my work starts now.
Right.
I get a high from that, like literally.
Yes.
You know, I'm like, and you know, it's a lot of late nights and stuff.
So you don't feel your creativity is taking a back seat in any way?
Not really, not really, because I'm able to channel it in a way that that doesn't really take away from one or the other. And of course, yes, it's time management and there's balancing, but I do feel like something like, boy, I really wish, like, hopefully, God willing, by the next year or 2 years, it should just be fully Drama Can Talent House, that I wouldn't need a 9 to 5 to be able to carry me.
Right.
But we're almost there, you know, but I'm working still, I still need a job. But it's the reality. A lot of creatives want that, but they can't do better. And besides that, there's not even a space to create, to say, you know, this, depending on the kind of craft that you have or what you're doing, there's not even a space to say, okay, well, I can probably do this or do that. Right. So it must be hard.
So how do you feel? Because sometimes it's also about blooming where you are. And do you find that you've been able to use your creativity in your 9 to 5?
For sure. For sure.
Okay.
It's and that is how I know that drama can be laced in everything. It could be the church, it could be the highest office, it could be in the community, the fundamentals and the creativity, especially, you know, especially now I'm doing a lot of communications. Of course, yes. Of course, yes, there's a space for it. And I don't know why we feel that, you know, the creatives and the creative people on that side and corporate and bureaucracy on that side, when really and truly they can literally do this. What's happening is the government not allowing, or I'm not saying the government, but it's just a structure, it's a paradigm that we're in that somehow has to shift, that, you know, it's not us against them.
Yes.
That's what needs to work on. It needs to be unraveled.
Yes. So then how do you encourage somebody to strive for excellence where they are, even if they're not where they want to be? How would you encourage someone working a 9 to 5 who is also an artist? What would you say to them? That how do you encourage them to still strive for excellence?
Make time for the craft. Make time for the craft. I mean, when I don't get tired, when it's only, I literally, like, when I'm done with the work, then you feel like all the adrenaline leave, and then you feel like all of it crashing down. I always tell people, do what you can with what you have at the time. Do what you can. Build your portfolio. I mean, if you're a writer, write those poems. Don't hide them in a corner and be like, you don't want nobody to see it. It could be a graphic artist, a singer, all those people, they need to, I mean, the internet is here. You know, you need to not wait for somebody to tell you to do it, you just need to do it. And that's the greatest advice I can give, because that's exactly what I did. And I feel like I'm really harvesting the fruits of my labor.
Right.
And we just started. We just started, and all I did was I shift my focus and I made it more about refining my process and becoming better at what I do instead of thinking that I need somebody to come and tell me, Danielle, look, the opportunity.
Right.
It really shifted, and I mean, CDF really catapulted us, but we running with the steam, you know. So, and to be able to run with the steam, it has that hard work and follow up. So anybody do what you want. I mean, you have to find a way to create, build your portfolio. Is it just because you want to? There's different type of art as well, like art to just to share. Do you want to make money off of what you're doing? Do you want to travel? So all of these things, you know, as an artist, it's a very personal journey, and you really have to chart it out for yourself.
Yeah, so something I usually like to ask people working in the creative field, do you find that many artists are settling for mediocre? Like, I know that I see your work and it's of a high quality. Do you feel that there are artists who settle and feel that this is good enough? Do you feel that we have this excellence mindset in the country among creatives?
I do think we have an excellence mindset in the country, but the issue is and has always been resources.
Okay.
Resources is what I think keeps the work looking mediocre. It prevents artists from really expanding and doing the things that will make the work look different. Even personally, as any artist, it costs so much money. Like, to just do a photo shoot, you're talking about $1,000 on hair, makeup. I could talk about Keisha, because where do you get that money? It doesn't just fall from the sky. So then, when you do the hard work, and especially for them, I can see it flashing back. You do the best that you can, and then people saying, "That's nothing," but you know you did the best that you could with the resources that you had, right? But then, I don't think I do, and to some extent also believe that people do settle, because I have been in spaces where, you know, and I wear different hats. I could wear the hats when I'm working. Whatever you want me to do. You want me to just come in as a writer, a director? You want me to handle your talent for you? So I like people to be very clear. But it really comes down to, they do have people that they're just so combative. They will be combative. Creatives are a combative set of people, very much so, for absolutely no reason. So there's that.
Because you think you're protecting something that you've created.
And I had to learn that the hard way. I had to learn to divorce and control my work. Like when you, like for example, like After and I don't think it was all bed and roses. It wasn't. When I had to hand over a song, you'd be like, Danielle, I think the chorus should sound this way. I'm like, but I like my chorus. Why do you want to change my chorus? You understand? And you have to relax. You have to allow that to happen, because it's like, and I started to tell myself, it's divorce and control. So for example, most of the songs that I've written, I think I only wrote one full song, but most of the songs has always been the concept, first verse, chorus, and I'll hand it over to Arthur. By the second year, I was just allowing him to do his thing and just be okay and happy with the fact that I still made a contribution, and it will still be known that I wrote the song, even though it's not the vision I had for the song.
Right.
But there's so much of that, and I think going through that process, it really allowed me to be a little bit more versatile when I go and do the work. So just don't take it personal. So the mediocre really is one, the lack of resources, creatives not being able to work with each other and allow somebody to run with your vision. And people just thinking that they have to keep everything for themselves. So if we continue to create in silos, how are we going to grow? How? I couldn't do it alone. It's only as, you know, with the Jamaican Talent House, and that's why I say the house. It's not me alone. I have people like Creed Cool, all of the different brands underneath me, and all of them bringing something different to the table, you understand? And all I'm there is just to support and to facilitate the vibe. And if I get to create, I get to create. Yes. And I get to facilitate, I get to facilitate. So it's a lot, and it's hard. It's really hard.
Because you mentioned the resources, a lot of people say government not doing this or government not doing that. Like, do you feel sometimes it's a crutch that we lean on to say government not giving us this or private sector don't want to support us? Or do you?
I definitely believe it's a balance again that there's a lot more that government can do, but you know that I feel they're supposed to be more as a facilitation and support,
like how CDF is,
right? And give the artists the resources that they need to be able. So the duty-free things, all of the things. Like, I mean, you mean to tell me I have a friend who does painting, $20 or $25 or one canvas? You understand? What can you do for us that we can make our resources accessible, that we can now create without the boundaries of the finances it takes?
So we have a Minister of Creative. If he had to have a sit-down meeting with you, and he said, Danielle, advise me. What can I do? Or tell me one thing I can do to help the creative industries. What can we do?
Well, for sure, the first thing I'll do is free up the community centers. Give the people the space. They just need the space. Government not supposed to come and say, let's start a drama group, you know.
Right.
The people in the community supposed to say, well, we want to do dance and drama, right? And the government's supposed to be like, okay, look the key for the community center.
Right.
That's what's supposed to happen. First thing, that's not costing your money besides cut grass and open there.
Right.
You know, and there's so much resources that go, even now as we're going into Nobel Laureate Part 2, it's a stress to get a space to rehearse.
Okay.
You understand? We on the beach rehearsing sometimes.
Okay. So we can just say, free up the community centers.
Free up the community centers. They already know the cultural center is another story.
Yes.
You understand? You have to have plata to be able to have the rehearsals the way you'd want to. And I understand that everybody has the bills to pay and stuff like that. Even me as a little producer director, you have bills, like each rehearsal is a bill.
Right, exactly.
When your people come through together is a bill. Where that money coming from? So I would say free up the community centers. Make it easier for people to go and study theater, right? Create more jobs within ministries that you can say, all right, you have a creative officer, and all they have to do is, if you align them with HR or something, but it's just so we cannot wait. Of course, like we need the government to push the cash into it. There's that aspect to it. So the government needs to meet the community, and the community needs to meet the government. So that's part of it, you know.
Okay.
That's what I would say. Just give us the space, the resources, and to lean on the historical resource and history and the information that we have, all the policies that we've been trying to push. Like, choose one and let's go. You know, like, I'm really frustrated. You know, government come, government go, the policy always changes. But the creatives really and the problems never change. It's the same.
Right.
So what we going to do? Do the same thing and expect something different?
Right.
So some people have to give. So that's why I personally, and I hope people watching this can note that, you know, I'm not different from anybody else. I didn't get any handouts. I've worked extremely hard for everything, and I think to everybody, this could be everybody's story, that you do not need government to start. You do not even need the money to start. You just need to start in whatever way that you can, and it will translate, and that's what it is. That's what it is. So I seen everybody always saying the government is the government that. You know, another thing too, creatives don't like to collaborate.
Right.
They do not like to collaborate. I mean, if you want to come, you have a little idea. Like, even for me, I mean, I don't know how to edit, but I can visually write a story on a document and hand it over to a good editor, and it'll make sense. But then if you want to create work and build your portfolio, and then when you go to an editor, they tell you, well, 1.5. I'm like, bro, we're doing this because we want people to see we can do it. You understand? And everybody feel as though, okay, yeah, you have good work, but continue. You understand though? How are you continuing to build your portfolio of work? That's the only way you'll get more work. Right. Instead of waiting for the gig for you to get work. You understand?
Right.
And I think that, you know, I'm uniquely blessed that I can do different things without having to depend on another creative. And I have the latitude to choose who I can work with as well on projects. So, yes, it's a lot. My heart open there is like, you know, it's a real stress. It's a real vibe. It's not easy.
Definitely relate to that.
It's not easy. Sometimes, There's this guy I work well with in Miku. I wanted to get like just a nice drone shot and, you know, just to do something different. We have some bikers coming and ride and, you know, invite people to come and sing. And it can't be about money, like 5 o'clock in the morning, just to do a video so that we can show people that this is Saint Lucia, like we could do this. Right. So there's so much that goes untapped and left because people just refuse. Me, I ain't touching that. If I get paid, I ain't touching that. That's what it is. Or they tell you, oh, if that person on that project, I working. You understand? So we need to drop the ego. That's a major part of creatives. I'll tell creatives we need to drop the ego if we really want to grow. You understand? Because we cannot do it alone. Even the singer, even the best actor, St. John, don't think that he don't have his team. You understand? Yes, everybody have their team. Patrice Roberts, when you look at like, I'm like low-key jealous of Patrice Roberts, but she's creating work of that standard, making you know that even though she's from Trinidad and is a Caribbean, we can have this type of content that is international, that can transcend. So I'm jealous of her because of course she have the plata and the resources to get it done. Yeah. It costs money, you understand? So if she can do it, she have a team and she uses the same editor. You know, of course, I guess she has her team and the team grows. So if I'm leading and everybody else is just continuously doing work, you don't think I'll be happy if Creed Cool or if VHL get to go and do something big for Vogue and stuff like that? Like that's how it works. Yeah.
So you mentioned VHL, you mentioned Patrice and so on. Our music has been making inroads, Saint Lucian music. What do you think that other areas could learn from music, the Saint Lucian music, and where it's going? Yeah. Do you think that what can we learn from it?
Girl, I don't know. Because of course, when you look at the music, it's the same hang-ups of the ego and you know, people being so cliquish with the craft and people not willing to work with each other. But if I have to look at where we going, like I can watch people like Umpa and Freezy, these people who have continued to delve into their craft, Moto, right? And again, I don't know what happens when an artist, you know, transcends borders, that people feel like everybody has to be like, you know, of course, yes, we want to claim ownership of Moto, but don't think Moto didn't have to work extremely hard to get where he is right now. Yes. You understand? Extremely hard, and you have to be consistent. So if you have to look at anything in terms of the music industry, and now is the people who continue to transcend and the people who continue to make it. I mean, CD and all of these people, they continue to work and they continue to explore. They always want to do something different. They want to make sure their last video is not like this video, you know. And again, it's the person. Right. You know, it's very subjective. For me, the art is extremely subjective. And what makes you really the best, of course, is the work, and you know, you hit a strike of luck one day. But it's really about the continued work and consistency.
Right. And so how important do you think it is to find your tribe? Because there's people you speak about frequently, the people that, you know, people you work with, your crew, but to find your tribe, that you almost your safe space.
Yeah. Very important. Extremely important, I would say.
And how does one go about doing that? Like somebody just coming up into the creative industries,
it's the work, because you know, the Curtain Call series, like I could give you this story. When we were doing Curtain Call, when we were actually doing the play, I felt that there was an opportunity for there to be a photo shoot. It just come to my mind, and I follow my heart and my instincts a lot with my work. So I don't know when to tell me it's supposed to be done this way, or I have my process and it works. You know, I'm not saying that I cannot do things differently, but in terms of the creator, I have my process. So it came to me, I said, all right, I call Creed, that's Jameson Hunt. And I don't know how I met him, just through work at the office. I say, Creed, on this so-and-so day, we're having a photo shoot, okay? I do not have the money to pay you now, but I'm definitely going to pay you. I just do not want to miss the opportunity for this photo shoot to take place, right? Bam, he reached. Okay, take the photo shoot, my girl. Right? And you know, I can say this, like, honestly, I finance a lot of projects with my personal money, and I don't regret it because I see it as investment. So when I got paid, I called Creed, and I was like, Creed, I have the money for you. He's like, Danielle, I like how you're doing business, my girl. Like that, you understand? I like how you're doing business, like, use my, you understand? And I felt so good in that moment to be able to know that I kept my word, and he was able to trust me at least to be able to make it happen. So, and that photo shoot is actually the one that they have. Digicel did a billboard of that photo. And we would have never known, I would have never known. Digicel didn't even say they were printing it. They were just a day I drive and I seen GoPro and the cast. I'm like, wow, you understand? So like these things encourage me. Like that gives us a fire, you know?
So you just mentioned Digicel.
Yeah.
Just give us a little snippets, what's coming, what's the collaboration with Digicel, because I know there is a podcast.
Yes.
What's
Yeah, so to sum it up, Project C is Caribbean creators working together to create Caribbean content, and it's basically myself, Junior Frederick, Maria Media, Creed Cool, we have All Biz Lacan, we have Wolf and Vigil. We all came together.
Very nice.
And we decided to get 2 shows done. So one is a podcast with me and my friends Michael King, Val. I have also other people appearing as well. Junior Frederick is actually doing a whole comedy drama show. Like as we speak, there's a shoot happening at Massey Stores. Right? It's going to be amazing. It was probably the hardest thing we've ever had to do. I personally had to do, but we were almost at the end of it. But the Digicel opportunity really came when CDF gave us the opportunity to record our play. So that's how COVID really flipped everything for us, you know. Because in my mind, if it didn't have COVID, it would have just been a play, people come and sit down and then nothing had happened.
That was it, yes.
But now we have this content, I'm like, we could sell this, we can share this, there's so much. So like my mind just been like, oh my God. So I went to Digicel, I say, they have a play, go up. I'm like, y'all don't want to stream a play?
Exactly.
You know, we have a whole play, you know, it's 40 minutes, you know? So, and they said, okay. And they gave us sponsorship for just airing it. And I was like, okay, I can get used to this, you know, just giving the content. So I went for that, and, you know, we pursued them, and we say here that we have a set of people who want to create something new, something different, and just give us a little bit of support so that we can get it done. Right? We have our foot in the door. It's not enough cash, but it's enough for us to be able to get it done. And, you know, we want to thank our sponsors, of course. I don't know if I can, you know.
Can, they're supporting the arts.
It is. Like, we need the cash. Like, there's Digicel, like Massey Stores, Lucy, like, Peter and Company came on for our podcast for Campari and the wine, you know, all the little business places, Aniv Cosmetics, all the people, however you've been able to help. If it was a chair, you'll help us bring, or a little transport to carry. Let me tell you, all of it is always just a labor of love, because and that's why I know it's not, at the end of the day, yes, you want to make money, yes, you want to survive, but it's really and truly about the love and the passion and the people you meet and the lives you touch, and I get to enjoy that and see that every day with what I do, and I feel immensely blessed, you know. And eventually, when it comes out and people be like, wow, like Saint Lucia, we could have like top stuff. We could, in my mind, like anybody, we could pitch it out and license the content to a TV station regionally, and it will still be Saint Lucia. It will still be us, you know. So that's what the Project C is, and I don't think Digicel know what they do. Honestly.
Thank you, Digicel.
For sure. And to the corporate people, like, y'all need, it's almost like how before they always used to talk about MNC Fine Arts and all of these things, like the arts need the support because it's people driven, and you have the will, you have the people who have the interest, but that needs to meet the resources to actually get the work done. You know?
Okay. So if you had, just shifting gears a little, if you had to give advice to a creative, one piece of advice, what would that advice be? Like, you've spoken about your journey and so on. What would you, just one thing?
Just do you, boo. Just do you.
Just do you, boo. Okay?
Just do you. Just do you. Whatever you want, whatever you're good at, don't be afraid. Don't make anybody tell you not good. Don't make them tell you, like, you're not ready yet. Just do it. Use social media abuse it for the right thing. Share your work, even though you have 2 people liking, 3 people liking.
Yes.
Just continue.
Just keep
do you,
pressing
be
on.
yourself, and really, like these days, I tell myself, blinders. Put your blinders on.
The hater blockers.
Yeah, you have to, because, and it's not even about the hate. People speak fear into your dreams a lot. They speak fear. After you already know it's a risk you're taking, you come down and remind me it's a risk I take it.
Right.
To make me ask myself and second guess myself. So, you know, it's important to mute out the noise and remain laser focused on you and the vision. So
that was very good advice there from Danielle. Very, very good advice.
Thank you.
This is a good place to wrap up. It was fantastic having you, Danielle. It was a very good conversation that I think we could
only because it's you,
talking. I know we could keep talking. So we want to really thank you for being part of the show today. But we want to leave viewers with something that's going to come. We want you all to see the promo for the... Okay, my brain just
improvises.
Not just that, but also for the podcast.
Oh yes, the podcast. Oh my
which
God!
Is
you playing the podcast?
Can we? Which
30 seconds.
Yes, 30 seconds of the podcast, which is that true?
That's true. That's true.
It's very funny.
Yeah.
So I think our viewers would really, really enjoy that. So, well, thanks everyone for watching. And this has been Creative Excellence with Danielle Dubois.
Merci, that's right. You can follow me on Instagram and it's Danielle Dubois.
And these are her handles right here. So these are her handles.
And don't forget Drama Camp Talent House and share the vibe, people. Just share and love the vibe. Like, no more time for them hater thing and keeping everybody back. Let's just support the vibe. You want a project you want to work on, reach out. We have a whole team of people. I have graphic artists, young people who just want the opportunity, who want to and also understand the importance of building their portfolio. Right. So, yeah.
Let's
Cheers.
do it. Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Hey guys, I'm Michael.
I'm Danielle.
And I'm Val.
And this is
That's True.
That's True. A 30-minute podcast with no boundaries, exploring real issues as it relates to life, love, sex, culture, fashion, and entertainment.